Hey, we back. We back. So, if you're new to our channel, we want you to like, share, and subscribe. This is the show Race and the Races. And we're a political show, yes, but we also talk about, everyday things, was it entertainment? We talk about everything, but mostly we deal with political stuff because we want people to get involved in the political process. We talked about local elections, which are very important because these people make your every decision on your everyday life. So we are back here again. We had Damika
Davis, Esquire.
Damika Davis Esquire. She is running for County Commission District 6. Now we have another County Commission candidate, Aude Sicard, who is running for District 8, right? I want to make sure that we're on the right page. District 8. And so these local commissioners of Broward County make decisions on our everyday lives. So it's important that we talk to these candidates and hear what their goals are, what have they been hearing from their constituents, and what they plan to do when they do take office. So, co-host, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Narnik Nikki Pierre Grant here. So my co-host Sandra.
Yeah, I'm Sandra Sheffer. I'm here, the other co-host of Racing the Racist, a little under the weather, but I'm here today because we made this schedule this time. I know Aude, she's campaigning, so she's super, super busy. So I definitely didn't want to, reschedule this because it's important. The time is coming so fast. Like we're already in June. We're like 2 months away from the primaries. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to her. We've spoken before back in 2020 when she was doing census work, right? She was doing a lot of stuff for the 2020 census. So we got a chance to speak to her then. That was a whole little messy thing, right? They kept changing the date, extending the date, bringing it back. And we saw the consequences of that, right? The people not being counted. A lot of municipalities lost out on money that they could have had because people were, it was undercounted. So Aude's been doing that work, for a very long time. So we definitely are looking forward to the conversation that we're going to have with her and see what her plans are for District 8.
All right, Aude, introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, why you're running, and we'll go into questions.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. And I'm so happy to be with you, the Race and the Races, two wonderful, strong women. We are so blessed to have you guys doing the work that you do. This work is definitely needed in our community. And informing people, information is power. So this is important. Thank you for having me. My name is Aude Sicard, as you just said it. I was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. My parents sent for me back in 1977, where I moved to Waukegan. Waukegan is a suburb of Chicago in Illinois. So I was there until 1982. I moved to Miami-Dade, to Florida. I worked for Jackson Health System for 32 years. I am retired. I have a bachelor's double major in criminal justice and political science. I have a master's in business administration. Very early on, my parents instilled in me that the value of education and hard work. That's what I've been doing all of my life. Going to school, raising my family. I am a mother of two young men. They are already adults, and that's the reason why I am free. I have the time to dedicate to my constituents. I have been on the trenches for very many years. I have lobbied, I would say, or advocated, that's a better word, advocated for people, for issues such as access to healthcare. That continues to be a big deal. As a criminal justice major, I also encourage to open up for people or the schools. This had not happened, and hopefully one day that will happen. For schools to provide after school program to the middle schools. The statistic has shown 90% of truancy and crime committed by young kids, by children in middle school, happen during the time when their parents are either on their way home or at work between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. So if actually the system, if we seriously decided to minimize and decrease this feeder pattern, people, young kids coming from school and going to prison, we can do that by eliminating or diminishing, decreasing the free time, the time that they have unsupervised because their parents are either at work or on their way home. So this is one thing. So I have lived in Florida for almost 40 years. I am a very strong advocate for education, access to healthcare, better transportation in Broward County specifically, the economic development. And by economic development, I um, I would focus on creating programs or promoting, encouraging programs, vocational programs that would allow the workforce in Broward County to be equipped with what they need in order to um, fill in those high-paying jobs. We understand that Broward, Fort Lauderdale, is a tourist destination, and we must also focus on the water management. By that, I mean the drainage, the aging drainage, and also the quality of the water and our beaches that are the type of destination areas that attract tourism. We also know that our port is one of the largest port in the nation because it is so well situated between North America and the Latin America. This is an opportunity or a place where Broward County could definitely uh, make more money, increase its power or the development, its development in order to create high-paying jobs. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz just brought back $12 billion to dig the port of Everglades to make it deeper in order for it to accommodate bigger container bow or boats. So this money is already here, and before that project is over, we as Broward County commissioners should definitely do what we need to do in order to prepare our workforce to benefit from these high-paying jobs that might come in terms of transportation, logistics, and high tech. In terms of housing, this is a crisis. We all know that a crisis. People are not able to buy new houses. If you own a home, you are right now at a risk of losing that house due to the fact that homeowner insurance has doubled. In some areas, most people would have their insurance together with the taxes included in their mortgage through the escrows, and that can create a big problems if they're not able to come up with the increase in insurance, homeowner insurance. So the mortgagors normally they do not accept partial payment. So if someone is in a fixed income or you're not making the salary that is needed in order for you to continue maintaining your home, paying that increase in insurance, you are definitely at risk of losing that home because the mortgage company will definitely send you those notices that says you are at risk of being foreclosed on. And if you rent, that's even um, more of a problem. Landlords, they are doubling their rent or are charging 50 to 100% more on their rent. And there is the Broward County recently passed this 60-day notice, but still in 60 days does not give you time to either find the money for the rent increase or find another place that will accommodate the rent that you are currently paying. So this housing crisis is tremendous. Last year, with the Rescue Act, the President Biden Rescue Act, there was money available to the federal government. Last time I read was $678 million. That is with the state of Florida. Many people have applied for relief and they have not received that money. The state of Florida, with Governor DeSantis, has not released that money to benefit those people who are applying for it. We understand there is an issue with the Sadowski's program, whereas money is normally set aside to help with low-income families with rent or mortgage. This is not happening. From the last workshop that I attended for the past 20 or more years, that program, the money from that program has been diverted to other things. And who suffers? It's the people who need the money the most, and they're not getting access to it. So I'm sure Broward County
All right.
commissioners.
So you talked about a lot of stuff, and I actually took notes on everything you said. So let's deal with the issues one by one, because we have time today, but we're gonna try to do this in an hour. And if we need to do a little bit more, that's okay. But I want to address the issues, because usually we only ask for 3. And you gave us about a good 10. You know what I mean? If not more. 10. You know what I mean? You gave us like 10 issues that you want to work on.
Yeah, I got like 10. I got like 10. I got like
10, right? Yeah. So, but let's first talk about, which I think is the first thing you talked about, is that you wanted to have like after school program in middle schools, because that's the age where young folks tend to start getting into trouble, right? To the point where they find their introduction into the juvenile justice system or whatever. Like when you say after school program, what exactly are you talking about? I mean, I went to school a long time ago and we had different kind of programs. So when you're saying programs, what is it that you mean?
What I mean is after school inside the schools, that the public school, the middle schools would offer that option for parents for them to keep the child until 6 p.m.
Is that a program at no cost? Because the schools now contract with I can't remember it's like aftercare center, something like that. There's a couple schools, at least where I live, that they have contracts with programs that run after school programs at the school, so the children can stay there till 6 o'clock. So is it something that you want to do where it would not be it wouldn't cost as much to the parents, or is it subsidized? What is it that you're asking for? Because there are contractors that are at the schools that run programs.
I would
they're
like
not cheap, but they're there.
I would like to clarify. The educational system is not under the Broward County Commission, but we can make alliance or work on some projects. Currently, children who are in elementary schools, primary schools, they have that option to stay with after school programs. Most of the elementary schools do offer after school programs, meaning they keep the child from the time school is over, 2 or 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. when the parents come and pick them up. This is a paid program. Parents must pay for it. It's not a free program.
No.
The school makes it available, but parents must pay. So this is that same program that is available for the elementary school that I would have loved to see the Department of Education pick up and continue it for middle schoolers.
But there's some middle schoolers that do that now.
Yeah, they haven't.
There's
Legally, they're not obligated to provide supervision to children once they reach the age of 12. And this is when the temptation and where people are putting them to do things that they not have no business doing. So this is what I'm saying. But this is not definitely the purview of the Broward County Commission, but we can create programs that would facilitate that type of service.
No, and I think that's important because, like I said, I went to school a long time ago, right? And so, even if there was not an after school, and I went to a hood high school, so there was no necessarily an after school program at our school, but the parks had programs at the community parks, right? My brother grew up, we all went to the park after school. They had activities that were organized. They had camp counselors. They had different things. Like one of them learned how to play chess. The other one learned how to play tennis, so much so that my youngest brother went to college on a tennis scholarship, and that's all things that he learned at the park. So maybe is it something that the Broward County Commission can do? Is to maybe implement programs in the parks where they would hire folks to provide services for kids that are walking distance from the parks, that because my mother didn't pay for any of that. Like literally, she didn't pay for any of that. And she might have bought a racket and some shoes or something, but that's it. So is that something that the commission can implement with the parks, hire staff to give these children something to do? Because it seems as though we had more after school activities when I was growing up than the children right now.
Definitely, and not only with the park, also with the school, the Department of Education. Like Nani just said, some offer it. So if we increase that service, the availability of supervision, the kids to have them supervised and not be latch kids to run into all kinds of stuff, and that would be good because the data is there. The statistics said 90% of those truancy crimes happen between the time of 3 and 6 p.m. They've known this for years, for decades, and I would say a century. But yet, rectifying it has not been a priority.
No, their priority is to create jail space.
That's the key.
That's the priority, because they know from the FCAT scores when the kids are in third grade if they're going to end up in prison. So instead of trying to stop them from ending up in prison, they're like, okay, we're going to need 1 million beds, by whatever time that these third graders become adults.
Instead of spending the money to prevent that type of thing for the kids to end up. It's like you feed a pattern from schools to jail and to prison, and that's the end of it. And that's one thing. The other question?
Yeah, the other question is, I'm sorry, go ahead. Sandra.
No, go.
Because it's almost in a line of what you were talking about, the after school. So you mentioned vocational programs, and you mentioned it that you wanted to try to expand vocational programs so you can get people to get higher paying jobs. And we certainly have vocational institutions within the Broward County school system, but are you talking about expanding it outside, maybe the commission creating or working with organizations to create more vocational programs outside of the Broward County school district that they have currently?
The key within the Broward County Commission would be to prepare the workforce. The whole idea is our workforce in Broward County needs to change with the jobs that will be available tomorrow. Those jobs would be definitely high technology. Even in the construction field, everything has changed. Everything is now automated, and it's a robot that are doing most of the things. So most of those jobs that used to be normal for our workforce is now disappearing, and in order we must ensure that our workforce is prepared to take those high tech positions, high paying jobs that will become available through high tech, whether it be with the engineering department, the construction field, things like electricity, plumbing. They may not be college degree certificate or diplomas, but definitely they will equip that person with a trade that will guarantee them not to be in under the poverty guideline.
Those high tech jobs make more money than some professional jobs.
Not even those HVAC, plumbing, electrician jobs. Listen, they stay working.
Yeah, they do.
They stay working. I had to call a plumber, and that brother was in my house 30 minutes, and he told me $325. I was like, wait, what? Like, I got to work all day to make that. What you doing?
Exactly. So back down to the key is for us to think of ways to prepare our workforce for more money, high paying jobs, and thus and diminish the crime level with those young kids who are coming, get them interested in a vocational or a trade if they're not passing for high school or what have you.
So how can the commission do that? Or how can the commission get that transition to get the kids into those vocational programs? Like what do you think the commission can do as a group, as a collective?
The commission has worked with that type of vision before. They've created programs that assist with I would say putting the kids in that route for them to make that happen. This is not a difficult thing to do. There are many huge organizations or businesses who would love to partner with, it's like a public and private partnership to make that happen. I have seen in Miami-Dade County where they had a contract with this developer, and part of the contract was not only they were doing high-end condominiums units, and then the part of the contract was for them to revitalize or create the same number of units in the low-income area to get people to low-income affordable houses. Another part of the contract, also another clause, was for them even when they are hiring those contractors to make a pact with those contractors that they will train this percentage of workers. So if it's a 5% or 10%, and they will be obligated to do so. So this is
so the workers that they're gonna train. Where do workers come from? Are they from the low income community? Are they based on race, age, and like how are they decided? Because if you just say, okay, you gotta, train 5% of the workers, I mean, they can pick any 5% they want to train. Like, how does that benefit that community?
No, well, they can pick any 5% they want, but the part of it is that these people must be within the local. They have to be local. They have to be local and students. Let's say there is a contract for $10 million or what have you, and the clause says that when they subcontract, they need to bring in. It's like the same thing with the affirmative action. So when they contract with someone, they need to with a contractor, they will have to create this percentage for minority contractors. This are there forever. So what I've seen,
they've been abusing that word minority though. That a minority word been getting abused lately. And I mean, people been getting contracts. You be like, "Ooh, who told you was a minority?" So I don't know.
This is well known. This is totally well known. We've seen contracts.
A lot of abuse that happens with that term.
So, to go back to that example I'm giving to North Miami.
I'm not putting you in the hot seat, Aude. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's good. This is great conversation. So North Miami had that. So how they chose the people, they had advertised in the Haitian radio that this contractor is about to enroll people who want to whatever field that contractor had signed up for. So they are going to enroll for electricity or plumbing or what have you, and they're recruiting those students via radio. So these students were to go and apply or put the application, and then together with FIU and this other vocational center that is near Jackson that does electricity, that trains electricians.
That's probably
So
Lindsay Hopkins Technical Center in Miami.
it's not Lindsay. It's another
Okay.
one strictly for electricity.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, vocational centers like Lindsay Hopkins, like the one in on Davie that we have in Broward County. So there are ways for this to happen, and if even if it's public-private partnership, you will pay there are people who would go to the workforce, for example, looking for a job. You can ask them. You may go and learn a trade, and then the workforce, whatever unemployment, if there is a program like this, could pay this percentage of it, and the contractor or the entity that is training them will swallow the rest. With given that they will stay on the job for this number of whatever time or whatever. So this is possible. There are many options, many other models in the country that we could utilize for this.
That's good. That's good. You also, I don't know if you want to jump in thing because I wanted to ask her about her economic development. I'm really interested in that.
Okay, so since we were talking about the programs, you can go into the economic development is a good transition because she was just talking about the programs and how they've allocated certain percentages to train and work. So yeah, economic development is right along that line. Go ahead.
Yeah, economic development. Part of it was that workforce, because without the workforce, there is no economic development. And it is necessary for large companies to understand, unless people are being paid a wage or a salary that allows them to survive, then there will be a carence of workers. Right after the pandemic, we are seeing that workers who used to, you go to a fast food place, it takes you 20-30 minutes to get whatever it is you're ordering, and it's to be a fast food because they do not have the workforce for them to help you, to give you the service. So it's no longer a fast food, and you go anywhere today, it's ridiculous. You go to Walmart, you go to anywhere, and Costco is self-serving. Everybody's doing that's part of the jobs that are disappearing. Yes, you have to. People just go and buy their stuff and pay on their own. So cashiers is costly. This is a job that's disappearing, and with economic development, in order for it to really develop, we need to facilitate, give the help that small businesses need. This crisis, that's another crisis. In addition to the housing crisis, there's a crisis with small businesses. Most likely, mostly, again, I'm going to use the word minorities, minorities of women, Black and brown people. Most of the time, those contracts within the government, and this is where the abuse happen. The contract is billions of dollars, and they said there must be some minority contractors within it, and some huge contractors will go from out of state or anywhere. They have the money, but they have no tie to the community, but then they get the contract and stuff. So it is very important for us as the guardian of those contracts to ensure that when we say this percentage should go to minority contractors, women, Black and brown people, it actually does. There are policies made placed in the county commission or any government to ensure that this happens, but most of the time we're not seeing it. And right now, due to the fact that things are so hard for small businesses, it's very difficult for anybody to maintain their business. And nowadays, the Rescue Act has given a little bit of money to help small businesses. And we need to make sure that those monies, and most specifically the ones that President Biden has earmarked for minorities, even though the money is there, Congress sign it, the money is sent from the federal government to the state and the state to the counties. Some counties get it directly, but when it is implemented, that's where the problems arise. Um, we have to make sure small businesses really do get their fair share, and all of those earmarked monies do go where they are supposed to go.
And right, one of the most important things that we do is that we need to elect individuals who are going to make sure that those things happen, right? Starting with the governor. Clearly, he doesn't want to look out for people with small businesses, and he's getting into fights particularly with Broward County, over things that really shouldn't be his business. And instead of doing what's best for the people here, he's making life even more difficult. So, there needs to be some changes happening in Florida, starting from the top job.
But the most important thing is to let people know about those programs.
But I think one of the comments that you made is said that there was $678 million that was sent to Florida for people to use. Folks have applied and they ain't get it yet. Right.
Yeah.
So that's a whole management thing. That's getting clogged up in government. So that means the person who's managing that ain't even trying to make sure that the people get it, because the money should not be sitting there collecting interest while people are losing their stuff and losing their livelihood and can barely eat gas $5. You know what I'm saying? So yes, whoever it is that's managing that, if that person's an elected official, they don't need to be there because they're not doing what's best for the people. And that's the point that I'm trying to make.
Not elected officials, but elected officials are the ones who are trying. Well, if we're talking about Broward, Broward is almost 90% Democrats. So those who are here, who are fighting to make sure that we get what we're supposed to get, they're the ones that they are our fighters, our warriors. But then it's like hitting.
It appears that this problem is happening in Tallahassee, and so there's some changes that need to happen there.
Yes. And like I said, the most important thing in terms of those economic development and helping the small businesses is information. They need to know where to go to get what. And the money is there, and they just need to ensure that they know about it, because most of the time, the people for whom the program is intended for, they don't know.
But again, the person who's in charge of managing that money and getting it to the people should also be the one that's letting people know that the money is there. And if they're not doing that, that seems like that's deliberate, right? There's no accident that people don't know that this money is available to them. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like that's still a failure on the part of the individuals. That's just my opinion. We don't have to agree on that. We don't have to agree on this. But if the people who are responsible for distributing this money is also responsible for making people know that those funds are available for people that fall into a certain criteria. You know what I mean? And this is how they apply for it, and this is what they need to do. And then they should have people that's reviewing those applications and make sure those funds get distributed in a timely manner. So if people don't know about it, that's on them too, because they're the one with the money.
Right.
Well, sometimes there is no money available to publicize or to do the outreach.
No, but we were talking about the $678 million that you said is available. That's the money we're talking about specifically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, another state, I think it was Louisiana, that had the same issue. They were given money by the federal government, and the governor there did not make it not clear, but I think there was something where they didn't even let the people know that the money was there. It's not that they didn't take it. They did take it, but no one knew that they could apply for this money. And to me, that is disingenuous. And it is deliberate, because there's people who really need the money and they don't know that it's available to them. So when you have the governor who's getting money from the Rescue Act, that is rightly ours. The fact that, number one, there was times where he didn't take the money at all. And when he did take the money, he didn't distribute the money. So there's a failure at the head, and it trickles down all the way down to the bottom. So and that's where it becomes a problem. That's why people who are elected, who are running for office, and this is what you know, and this is the information you have. I think a lot of candidates are running on the basis of being transparent and trying to make sure that their constituents gets what they need. So, we're looking for, candidates to do that and be truthful about what's going. I think there's somebody stated the oversight of distributions of funds needs to happen now on the county commission. And that's true. I think, people don't know that the money's sitting there, then, it is what it is.
The people who know about it should be telling their constituents.
They sure should. That
starts from the top all the way down.
It sure does.
All right.
What's your next question? Because she mentioned.
So we're talking healthcare. That's another bit of money that the governor out here just causing all kind of problems for people for. So I don't know what the county commission can do on healthcare. So tell us what the county commission can do, and what would their level of involvement be in healthcare, if any at all, since that's one of the concerns you have.
Again, there are two things: the education, Department of Education, and healthcare. Those are things that the county does not have jurisdiction over. But yet, we do have a system of healthcare system in Broward County. There is the memorial, I would say, hospitals. It's one entity, and then there is also the health department. That's a different entity, and Broward Health, I would say, not health department. The Broward Health department is the one that is over all of them. The Broward County is just ensuring that monies that are assigned to our access to healthcare would be spent towards that. We've seen how very important it is during the COVID to have access to vaccines and to have access to healthcare. Simply, people who are having COVID, how the disparities between Black and brown people and the rest of the population. 70% Blacks were dying of COVID in the hospitals, and that was a terrible thing. This is a testimony of how there is a big gap between people of color accessing healthcare. In terms of the Broward County, again, we have clinics, we have places. It's just ensuring that the disparity, for whatever reason, is brought up to be brought to the public and promote better service.
Yeah. And so you talked about transportation. Now, Florida and public transportation.
Garbage.
It's trash. I don't think there's one city in this place that has decent transportation. Not one county. So what can the Broward Commission do about public transportation in Broward County?
This place. As a resident of Broward County, when I first moved back in 1994, when I moved from Miami-Dade to Broward, it was terrible. Where I lived, there was no public transportation. Mm-hmm. And there was a time when I didn't have a car. My car broke down, and it was either I needed to buy a new car, and I had to take three different buses. Luckily the city where I live had a shuttle, so I would take the shuttle to a mall, and the mall to Miramar City Hall, and take express bus all the way down to Jackson Health System. So every day I had to take three different transportation going and coming back. So things have not changed that much. We do have public transportation that come, but it's every hour. And if you miss it, that means you're sitting there for another hour. And the price has gone up. It's $2 a ride. It's terrible. And there isn't that many routes. We need to improve in routes. We need to improve in renewing or updating our buses. We need to improve our infrastructure. This is not only in terms of the transportation for buses and stuff, but also create new routes, new roads. Infrastructure is very important. We've all sat on and suffer sitting in the parking lot of State Road 84 during rush hours, sitting in the parking lot of 595 or I-95. We've all suffered those things during rush hour. Is terrible. So my plan is to propose a train station going east and west. The city of Fort Lauderdale has had the Bright Line, and they have the trolleys that goes up and down the district, the downtown area up to, I'm not sure to where, but we need better transportation.
So are there tracks that can go east and west though? Are the tracks
There
already
is-
there to do that?
there isn't.
Okay.
There isn't one, so that's why it's
Okay.
very important. We only have two east and west. That will be State Road 84 and 595. There needs to be one all the way up to Pompano and Coconut Creek in that area. And then I think the train, the same way Miami-Dade has the Metro Rail, I think it's not impossible for us in Broward to have some Metro Rail as well. That would go from west all the way to the airport, or to the Sawgrass that is well known by Latin America. People travel, come here just to go and shop in Sawgrass. There is no reason why from the Everglade, people who are coming to the cruises, and they can decide to, okay, let's go to Sawgrass. They don't have to be sitting on 595 or I-95. And also it will be easy for anybody, for all of us. And also people in the West, if you want to go to Las Olas or go to the beach, we don't have a beach that all the way west of Broward. So it creates jobs. It creates a better environment and improves the economy. It improves the economy. So if you this is one thing that I think Fort Lauderdale is ready for. It's for Metro Rail that carries people north, south, and east and west, and different.
I hope they're ready, because there's been a lot of resistance to getting trains. I know the Bright Line has like a lot of benefits, because I think that's the one that goes from like Palm Beach into downtown Miami, and so some people have been using it, even though for whatever reason it tends to have just a little too many accidents for my taste. Like, I don't know why people think that they can beat the train, because there's been tragedies in the last couple of weeks with that train. So something has to give about, like, there definitely need to be some sort of, I don't know, educate. I don't know. They gotta do something with the barriers that go down or something. But that situation
work on safety mechanisms. Work on the safety mechanisms, and maybe kind of broaden that out a little bit to kind of get people,
or put it on notice sooner. Or
people, most of the time, those cars are cars who can go under the bar, or they're trying to beat it.
Yeah, whatever the reason is, it can't be that shouldn't happen.
But the Metro Rail in Miami-Dade, it's up,
elevated. Yeah,
it's up, it's elevated, and that it works. It works tremendously well. It goes to the north Dade of Miami and to downtown Miami
and Kendall, because most of the people that live in Kendall, they take the train to downtown Miami. They don't even drive.
Exactly. Before I moved to Broward, I used to take the Metro Rail, and that was wonderful. I was less stressed out, not worried about having an accident on the road. I was at work on time, and I had time to read and relax. So there are great benefits to getting Metro Rails. And instead of having it underground, just like Bright Line, and create issues, it should be up, elevated.
Okay, so the trains is gonna take some time, but what can they do now for the people who like got to take the bus, right? Because one of the things is, like, folks are just starting to ride their bicycles, but in the summer, for example, the weather here is terrible. it's been raining since the end of May, right? Like we're in the middle of hurricane season, you know, and the weather's terrible. And I know I see folks on their bikes all the time, but you know, on your bike, and if you got to go to work, you're gonna get wet. So what can we? What immediate thing can the county commission probably do to increase routes or at least make the buses just run a little bit faster so people can get back and forth?
The county had raised taxes. They've done this. Is it a penny tax that went? And they're still working on it. The intent is there. It was a good endeavor, and there are monies that there are places within like Lauderdale Lakes and some other cities that did receive money, and you can see the improvement. And at the bus stops, they have coverage and where people can stand from the rain and the sun.
That's nice, but they still gotta wait an hour.
Yeah. So yeah, and then yes, there as the money grows, most likely the plan is to create more routes and better buses.
Okay. So so we're gonna transition to something that's really something you mentioned that was sorry.
Actually, I'm gonna, because it kind of relates to some of the things that she was talking about. So you were talking about, you mentioned Sawgrass like mall and the transportation and people can go there. So remember the rain I was just talking about? So I actually had to go to Sawgrass last week. Half of the parking lot was flooded. So you talked about the drainage. Like, what are they doing about the drainage? Because I had to literally maneuver because I have a low car. Right. So I had to figure out a way to maneuver the parking lot so I don't get stuck in the water. So what are they doing about the draining and the flood situation that happens in Sawgrass? Or is that something the county commission deals with?
Yes, I'm totally in favor of water management. There is a problem with water not being managed the way it's supposed to, such as getting from Okeechobee and down to us. When Okeechobee is too full, then they have to discharge some water down south. And also we have the global warming with the sea level that is increasing. That creates a lot of problem on the east side of Fort Lauderdale and all the other parts of Broward County. And on the west side, most of those lands that used to be water, or they weren't. It wasn't like the dry area where people built their houses. They elevated the land or dried it out and create those man-made lakes.
Yeah, I live in a swamp. I used to. I live out west. So it used to be swampland over here.
So what's happening now? When it went a lot, like it's been doing the past few days, and as it happened last year, many places that never were flooded before, they were flooded, and you've seen it on TV. What the city, the municipalities, and county is doing is to emptying the lakes in order for the water to recede. These are the kind of things. So many places look at, such as Fort Lauderdale. We've seen it on TV many times where there have been erosions to the drainage. There are the drainage is aging. They need to replace that. In some places where they have new development, it's not an issue because they prepared for that. But in older neighborhoods, this needs to happen. All of this comes down to the infrastructure, creating the train station, creating more woods, building more woods, giving alternative to where people drive and how they end up where they need to go. The drainage system, the global warming, all of those things are part of the infrastructure that need to improve. And there is a little bit of money that the Rescue Act from President Biden has provided after the pandemic that people are benefiting right now. And part of this, I would say a large percentage of that money still hasn't been dispersed yet. And then we have the Build Back Better bill in Washington, D.C. That one will definitely make everything a lot better to everyone.
If it can pass. Did it pass? What are they doing with it?
It needs to pass, and that's the way the only way we can have this happen, and I will say it, is to ensure that Val Demings,
Amen.
Amen.
she
Yes.
needs to be elected.
Absolutely.
And everything else in terms of the scandal that we have with the unemployment. When you think that people worked hard for their money, that little bit of money that never goes up because everything else is high, but salaries are low, and then for the government to rig the employment system for people not to ever be able to apply for it, this is criminal.
Yes.
If you, that's criminal. So when they
So
are
the governor needs to change. I guess we can. There's two folks that's there. I don't know who people are supporting, but we definitely need to get rid of the governor too.
when people are getting going to jail for robbing whatever, and then you see the government is robbing a large number of people for of their money, that's crazy. This is ridiculous. This is something, and the only way we can cut all of those things, shenanigans going on in Tallahassee, is by electing a Democrat as governor. So all of those things come together in order for our lives to change. So when people think that they're not going to vote because it does not mean anything to them, it does mean everything.
It means a lot.
Everything.
I mean, we saw that with District 20. That it was, you know, and I'm not saying the right person didn't win in District 20, but that race came down to 5 votes. So every vote counts. So
But
yeah.
when you think Bill Nelson lost the Senate with 30,000 votes, no, 10,000 votes. 10,000.
And DeSantis won with 30.
And Andrew Gillum lost with 30, and DeSantis won with 30,000. And we probably had 200 and some thousand people who did not vote.
Absolutely.
But only.
Yes. Yes.
So we need to
promote. That could
promote.
be a big difference.
Yeah. So our lives depend on it for real.
For real. And we've seen it. So even if we didn't believe it before, the consequence of 2016 has showed us this, right? For the presidency, 2018 with the governor that we have has shown us, you know. So yes, we know now. Like, even if you didn't want to believe it before, we have enough evidence, and the case has been made that your vote matters, and the people that's in power right now does not deserve to keep it because they're not doing what's best for the people. So we got something has to give.
Something has to give. Something
has to give.
The living wage, because what they call the minimum wage, there have been studies done that says that in order for people to be able to survive, not even living, there is something called the living wage. Broward County passed a resolution last year that made the living wage $14.02 per hour for county employees. And now we're trying to ensure that other businesses do follow through and pay people $14. That is the living wage. But the problem that exists right now, that was last year in 2021, it's as if it didn't matter anymore with that 14, when we thought 14.02 was going to be a lot better versus $8.75 that used to be the minimum wage. But now you see your insurance increased double, the price of gas, the price of food, the price of rent and mortgage. You can't even purchase a house. So the living wage 14.02 is like back to it. It's as if
Interestingly enough, I was having this conversation with my students last year when they were talking about, you know, the $15 minimum wage, or maybe last year, 2 years ago, whatever it was, right? And one of the things they said, there's like, no, I don't want the wages to go up, because there's like, the minute the wages go up, everything is going to cost more. I was like, you know, wow, people are like brainwashed to believe that they shouldn't make more money, right? And literally, the wages are going up, and like now everything is like outpaced that, right? Gas is too high, rent is too high. I have a friend who was renting a place. Her rent was $850. They put a notice and said the rent is going up to $1,800, right? How is like to go up $1,000 in
Yes.
just in 2 months, and the person ain't making no more money, that's basically telling them to get out this house and go find someplace else to live, you know?
So I calculated with $14.02 an hour, someone who's working 40 hours a week, that is 160 hours a month, times the $14.02, their income comes to $2,323 only. And the median for anyone to rent a one-bedroom apartment is $1,448. Meaning, if you're making $2,332, and then you take out the $1,448 for your one-bedroom rent, that is before tax that you're making $2,232. So you can't even pay for transportation to go to that job.
Yeah, you got to get a bus card and spend your time on the bus, and you're eating ramen noodles, mac and cheese, and tuna all month long.
You can't even afford to go to work. This is crazy. What's happening to a large number of people?
Yeah. Or you have roommates or something. I don't know. You know, you're doing a whole bunch of stuff. So it's
yes. It's terrible. It's not a good time. And I was listening to some documentary in terms of years ago when your parents back in the 70s and 80s, they have a high school diploma and they could live at a job. It was a union job. The union could take care of you and stuff like that. But it's no longer existing. Now Florida is a right to work, and people are being abused at the workforce, and it's crazy. There is no recourse. I think the Democratic Party should go back to its base, which is to make the union stronger, and thus ensuring that working people do have something to survive on.
Yeah, because I had a bunch of friends whose dads work for the airlines, right? And I mean, they worked for the airlines like 30 years, retired pension benefits and all of that type of stuff, right? And so even now when you have those jobs, most of them are subcontracted out with someone. Every now and then the person may truly work for the airline that has a union and benefits. But even when you do get jobs with big companies, most of the companies are opting to subcontract out the work so they don't have to pay benefits and the people don't have to be part of a union. So it really you know, there's a really a big attack on like labor, right? And then they want to wonder. Go ahead.
Yes, that's what it is. Exactly. There's an attack on women. There's an attack on labor. There's an attack on LGBTQ plus people. It's like if you're not the right type of people, you're not supposed to be able to live normal or live right.
Right, which is crazy. And the people who are making these decisions, it's like they can't live with it without any of it, right? So these big corporations, these billionaires or whatever, they're attacking labor, but they can't run their business without a labor pool. I'm like, dude, you can't do all of the jobs that your company have in order for you to be successful. So you need labor. So why are you mistreating folks? So but the thing about it is a lot of workers, they just like, listen, I'd rather have something than nothing, instead of them understanding their power and standing in their power, that listen, these big CEOs and whoever with these big titles, they can't do none of this without the labor pool, right? But they have the labor pool convinced that they need them, that the labor pool needs the CEOs and the company owners more than the company owners need them, which is the reverse is true. It's like the labor, like, no, you need us to work because you can't do this without us. Particularly since they got a whole nother attack on immigrants, right? They don't even want like immigrants to come here. So American workers are like in the best position right now to make more demands, but you know, hey, they on some other stuff, you know.
So our WLIN was saying the other day that years ago in the 70s and 80s, CEOs were making 70% more than the average employee. Today they make 350% more than the average. And the other thing in terms of the attack on immigrants, that's the thing that they're selling to the African American community, that immigrants have taken their jobs and stuff. We all know they sent the jobs to Mexico, they sent the jobs to India, they sent the jobs to other countries so that they can have. That's what diminished union powers also, because now all the jobs went to India and to Mexico,
Bangladesh, Vietnam, Thailand.
So all the jobs went over there, and they're telling
Mhm.
people immigrants are taking your jobs. That is not true. They made all those.
Well, the immigrants that are in the native countries, not the ones that's
Yeah,
coming to the United States.
exactly. So people are thinking they're talking about people, immigrants who come here trying to make a living. They're not taking the jobs. The jobs are being sent away by corporations, by
Yeah, the
great
outsourcing.
corporations.
And yeah.
Yes.
And so I don't even know. Well, so I guess you're in a space that you may have more access to information, but I don't even know if it's like African Americans who are really like anti-immigrant in that respect, right? And so I don't even want to give like black people that kind of say like they're anti-immigrant in that particular in that respect, because when as black, even though we're from the islands, when I walk into a room, I walk into a room as a black woman. So I don't think African Americans that don't have any island or immigrant background are just like anti-immigrant in that respect, thinking that they're taking their job. I think that's a conversation that's some information that's being said to kind of just create division that really doesn't exist between.
It's not the African American community. It's the TV, and depending on who we're getting, who is going to be the candidate sending out the propaganda.
Oh,
That,
okay, yeah, all right.
but because you saw how Trump was saying, people coming from immigrants are coming. They are the rapists, criminals, all kinds of stuff, and
the bad hombres.
who would like to have that kind of stigma, and whether you like it or not. And it's not on the African Americans, because they let them believe immigrants are taking jobs that they sent away to other countries, and the people are believing, because it's hard when you can't find a job. Those factory jobs are no longer available, and if you're not so these are the kind of things that things are time is changing. People have their eyes open, and they understand. Most people are understanding now the real things, and I think it's up to us as Black people to direct and lead the narrative, and not let people talk for us.
Spread lies.
Yes, spread lies. So we need to lead the narrative to our own benefits, and not fall into those traps, letting people divide us,
Right.
and make us stand one against the other. That's not true, because we are all on the same boat.
Right, because they have common folks, just regular working folks fighting against each other, when it's really the CEOs and the big folks with the money that got their foot on your neck, right? But they got you arguing amongst each other and taking focus away from the person that's really disrupting your life. So we do have to do a better job about that. So thank you so much. I don't think we covered all of the stuff, because I wanted to ask you about that port and that $2 billion that DSW got and everything like that. What DWS got to bring about the water, that people can go back and listen to the video, because you did kind of explain what that money was for and everything like that. So tell folks how to get
to expand the port of Everglades, to make it bigger and deeper, to accommodate bigger boats.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for that. That's I think you're the first one that came on that talked about that, and that's good to know that those types of things are happening. And I just really hope that true, like I'm not gonna say true minorities, but like really people of color, Black folks, folks that live in the county, that that been here, grew up here, that's committed to this place, are the ones that's going to be able to get those jobs and be able to see the county grow, since this is a place that they want to stay and continue to live in. So I don't know if Narnique got any more questions. She can go ahead and ask, and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah, we're at our hour mark. So Tell us, Aude, how can people support you? How can they donate to your campaign? How can they volunteer for you? Where can they find you?
Thank you very much. Yes, I have a website. It's www.voteaude.com. www.voteaude.com. If they go to that website, there is a place where they can donate and also apply or sign up.
Do you have a Facebook page and an Instagram page?
I do. I have a Facebook, and then the Facebook is Aude Sicard for Broward County. Instagram is the same thing, Aude Sicard for Broward County. And I really wish that people would go and donate. I can use the funds This is I'm one of those candidates that do not go for large corporations, and I need the donation if they can go ahead and check it out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And the volunteers too, right?
Volunteers, donate. You don't take that what you call it, coffee, that
that Starbucks money.
Donate
it to Aude.
That Starbucks money. Take that Dunkin' Donuts money. Take that.
It's not pumpkin spice season yet.
It's not there yet. Go donate to a campaign, to a person who's been in the community, who is for the community, who's been living here for 40 years. Vote Aude.com. She needs your coinage, $5, $10. Nothing is too small. Everything is, all these candidates are running on donations only. And so, and running a campaign is expensive. Let's be honest.
And also, in terms of time, donate your time.
Yes.
There is a place where you can fill out the application to become a volunteer. Any time is good for me. I go door to door in the evening, 6 to 8. And during early voting, that's even crucial. This is a time when the rubber hits the road. 10 days of early voting, Monday to, I think, to the next, it's Saturday the 13th until
Sunday. It'll end on Sunday.
The 21st.
Yeah.
And so it's very important. We have 8 hours a day. 10 days, and I need if anybody can give 2 hours, 4 hours, any of those days, that will be wonderful.
And I have to tell you, having presence at the voting locations is really important. And I tell this story before. During one of the elections, there was a candidate. I was conflicted about who I was going to vote for. I was like, and up until the moment I went to vote, I was like, which one? Because I was going back and forth. And the candidate was at my polling and was at the place where I went to vote. And I was able to have a conversation with them. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and vote for you. And then I went in and I ended up casting my ballot. So that presence there, even if it's not the candidate, by the campaign being present at those locations, make a difference.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much, Aude.
Thank you for coming, Aude, and thank you for all the valuable information you provided to us. I think that when people look over the video again, that will be some key things that they can ask their current commissioners on what's going on and how they can help or how they can push them to make some real change in Broward County. So
yeah, you raised a lot of issues. Thank you
very much.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Okie dokie.
All right. That was good. I learned a couple things.
I learned a lot today.
I need to. I said DSW instead of DWS. See, I got shoes on the brain.
It's true.
I was like, I'm thinking of shoes, and I meant to say Debbie Wasserman show. I am so sorry. I'm sorry, Congresswoman, but I was thinking of some shoes,
honey. I brought up in a lot of things that that's really pertinent and important for the Broward Commission, and I think it's important. I think I need to reach out to my district person because I'm a bit perturbed and concerned.
No, she talked about some good stuff. I didn't know about the $12 billion that got here. We need to about expanding the port, and I really want to understand. I really would like to see more about how it is that they decide who they give money. When the contracts require that they hire minority companies or do a certain amount of training, how it is that they select and how do they vet the companies that get to participate in those contracts and how they actually distributed, right? Because one of the things that we've been finding out when I said about that whole minority word getting misused, a lot of time white women are considered minorities, but these white women are married to the white dude, who has the business, who would not have gotten the contract, but he just said, let me put it in my wife's name. You know what I mean? So it's really like a bit of an abuse of the process and stuff like that too. So we gotta be careful. I think we need to see if that vetting is actually happening. So that's important stuff. And the insurance and everything going up. Yeah, she brought up a lot of stuff.
The water management, the aging drainage, the water quality, the beaches. I mean, these are all things that are within the Broward County purview. That they can make decisions and not even decisions, but make some changes within those things. And I think this is very important to the people in Broward County. I think these are the issues that and I'm glad that she brought this up, because when you talk about logistic, high tech, jobs, transportation, economic development, vocational programs, these are all issues that affects our everyday life.
Yeah, and the one that got me was like about all this money that's available, for people. And ain't nobody telling them about it, right? So that is definitely a problem from top down. But the elected officials who know about this and that's not disseminating this information to their constituents, that's a problem too, right? Because people out here, it's tough out here in these streets. And I'm like, and I said something and I was like, oh my God, I said something, it was a little bougie on my part and I apologize for it, right? When I made the comment about the plumber getting $325 for being in my house for 30 minutes, and I was like, oh my God, I mean, I don't make that in a day. I mean, there's people that don't make that money in a week, right? So for me to talk about like, oh, that's all I make in a day was a little kind of like, girl, people going to work 40 hours and they making $325. You know what I'm saying? So I apologize for that little, that was a little on my part.
I think to your point is that we there's these potential jobs and these vocational programs that are limited. We don't have as much as we should have in order to bring this county into a better, align it in a better way. And so that was great that Aude mentioned that, and that's something
and then we shouldn't sleep on, and the whole idea of when they talk about VOTEC, it's important, right? The plumbers, the HVAC, and all of those people. I'm telling this dude literally was in my house for 30 minutes and got $25. So we shouldn't sleep on that. And everybody's not going to college, and everybody shouldn't have to go. And if you can come and listen, if I could go in your house for 30 minutes and make $325, heck, I need to go learn that too. What I got to do?
Sign me to the vocational program, and I'll do it.
I'd be like, my back hurt. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, sign me up, because I will do. The thing is, I don't think it's advertised enough, and I think that's what Aude is trying to say in terms of what the commission can do to advertise these things and to show that there is other routes besides college, and that you can make really good money, a good living. So I think it's important. I think that's important. I think that, and that's why I say, that's why when we talk about the local government making decisions for your everyday life, how important it is, because they are a source of resource that can really help, guide and make the county a better county. So
and how she said they can work with the Department of Education and collaborate with the schools, just like when they have those money and they've given these contracts, they should be able to. And when I went to school, there was a career person at our school, and there was a college advisor, and all of these folks, like that information should be sent to the school too, and those people should know their students, and they should also be providing that information for that student. So not only should people have to be relying on going onto the county website to find this out, this information should be sent to the schools. I mean, I work at a college, they could send that information to our person at a college. One of the schools that I work at, the lady, I mean, she sent me emails all the time, and I was like, I can't apply for these jobs, but she does blasts and sends it to everybody. But that they provide them with the information, they can get it to the students.
Maybe the commission should create a department that's all they do. Provide
nothing information out there, because people need work, man.
Because information, like Aude said, information is power. So if they have just create a department in the commission and say, hey, your job is only to send to out Broward County. This is what we have available. These are the sign up times. This is what we need to do. I mean, I think that would be great if
and let people know about the programs, the money that's available, the funding. I mean, like really, like because it's getting to the point where it's like, well, what people elected y'all for? Because it seems like y'all getting elected to go there and mind take care of your own business.
When you
not everybody else
taking care of us. I mean,
they got like that.
You are a public servant. Your job is to serve, okay? And serving means you disseminate all the information, provide us with stuff. And then also engage. I wish that some of the county commissioners would engage with the constituents. Maybe do like a tour of their district 2-3 times a year, just so they can get to know what their constituents are doing. Because sometimes you just can't sit on the dais. You got to go and meet the people and meet them where they at. Figure out what they need. Because just because you did one little thing doesn't mean that that's how it is for the rest of the time. Come find
and some of the people, they know it's cities. They know what cities in their district, but they probably ain't never been there.
Sure. Okay.
No.
All day.
This is not, it's really it's starting to get on my nerves. Like it's like y'all got these jobs to go take care of your own business. It's like
you don't come to the cities. Visit all the cities that's under your commission. And then go see where the issues are. I mean, like whoever's district is in Sawgrass, y'all got a huge drainage problem, and that's
Let
been
me
going
tell
on for
you.
years.
Yo,
okay?
and it was a matter of fact, while I was there, this dude car was stuck in the water. Like he literally had to be towed out of that place. I was like, oh, I ain't going over there.
They've been underwater for years. You remember when we had that El Nino or whatever, that with all that rain that was coming? Sawgrass stayed underwater. Whose district is that? I gotta figure out who that is next time.
Yeah, because that was a hot mess. And this was last week. This was like last Saturday. I went there.
Yeah,
and I was maneuvering through the parking lot.
I was really happy that she brought all those things up, because most if not all of it is within the purview of the commission. And hopefully when we
they need to do something because they always sitting up there talking about a whole lot of stuff, like.
And then have people wasting their time come to meetings only for you to say something like 5 o'clock, and then be trying to don't give nobody no.
Man, like, oh yeah, we're gonna put that on. See you next month Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Be like, yo, bro, I just spent the whole day over here.
And the commission people, those who are running for office, if you are so chosen to get elected, y'all need to change the times that y'all have your meetings. People need to be able to come to the meetings, be able to be heard and understand.
Or at least like, alternate, right? Just like, last night we were, well, I mean, it was a good thing, but it was like a very sad thing, right?
It was.
So the whole January 6th commission
hearing
yesterday, and they actually had the first meeting like prime time. The opening statements were like prime time, and I'm sure a lot of people was able to see that. They wouldn't have been able to most people couldn't watch it like during the day at 10 o'clock. I mean, on Monday it's going to be at 10 o'clock in the morning, but the fact that they wanted people to be like, listen, this is what we going to build upon, right? But they did it in the evening. So if the county commission can't have their meetings in the evenings every month, they could do it every other month, once a quarter or something like that. But it don't gotta always be Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Like y'all please, okay? Y'all could do something at 6 o'clock.
If they know a month in advance or 2 months in advance that they're having an evening meeting,
they set the schedule. You could do it. You could make it your business that once a quarter you guys have an evening meeting.
Those who are running, please make sure that is something on your agenda, that you try to alternate the time so people who work are able, because you want people to be involved in the community, right?
Well, it sounds like they kind of don't want people to be involved. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I'm not that brilliant.
They don't want no accountability. Is that what it is? They don't want no accountability.
It don't sound like it to me.
That's what it sounds like to me. But anyway, I digress.
Yes. So thank you, Aude. Yeah, this was
good. Great. There's a lot I learned, and then the money that she mentioned, and then Florida having the largest port, that means that's a great, a big employer. You know what I'm saying? So that's important, and that goes to show you that Aude as a candidate is really looking at the issues, really looking within the community. And so y'all need to go visit her website. Okay, go give us some coinage. She need the money. Give her some money.
Yes, she need the money and the time. I'm telling you, she needs that. Yeah,
some time,
volunteer.
Be at the districts at the I think she'll probably have a list for everybody on which what do they call it?
Polling places to go to and what times
or whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, running for office is a big thing, man. Yeah, it takes a lot of work. So I gotta commend Aude for running.
I just talked to people that's running for office and I'm tired.
Girl, okay, it's not easy.
I was like, wait, what?
But they be like, I gotta go to this event. I said, but you just won like two,
yeah,
like
please.
I gotta go to this other one.
Like, that's a whole job plus,
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So listen, you got to give them credit, because it's not an easy thing to run for office.
Yeah.
We applaud those who are doing it. We wish everyone a great success, and then we'll be back here next week with 2 more candidates.
Wednesday? We don't have anything Monday, right? It's Wednesday and Thursday, right?
Wednesday and Thursday we have 2 more school board candidates. And then the following week we don't have anybody, and then the week after that, we have 2 more school board candidates.
Okay.
And that will round us up. We've sent everybody emails. Those who responded got dates.
I think people like slowly sending us messages though, but okay, we'll see.
Well, yeah. The early bird gets the worm.
Yes.
So they
all right, y'all.
All right. So
enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, enjoy your weekend.
Yo, we gotta have a show. Maybe we'll do it like Monday or something like that. Oh, maybe we'll do it Monday, because they're gonna have the second day of the hearings on Monday.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna talk about that because
Okay.
Yeah. This stuff is stunning.
That January 6th. If y'all didn't see the stuff last night, and because there was stuff we hadn't seen before, I was in shock.
It's on the page. I posted it on the. I posted an 11-minute video on the Racing the Racist page.
I need to go see. Y'all
Let me
need to
tell
go
you.
see the video. That is no joke. And let me tell you something. When Sandra sent it to me earlier today, I was in tears. I was in tears. I could not believe it. I just could not believe it.
They were fighting them people for like 4 hours.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, we were speechless on the phone because I was like, I don't even understand it.
And what's stunning to me is that if anybody see that and they think that the folks who voted against this or trying to downplay this and say that was a tour and all that kind of stuff deserve to stay in power, like I don't understand. Like all them people need to get fired because that is crazy. For them to see that and to act and to try to dismiss it and minimize the danger that all of those folks was in, listen, they don't deserve the power that they have. Absolutely not. Because that was what
I saw was there was no way in their vocabulary of the word empathy. I didn't see none of that. I don't even understand.
That was not no tour. That was not no regular get together. That was not no First Amendment protest.
I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. I don't know. I don't have words. I have no words. But we'll do a recap on Monday about it. I don't have words.
All right, y'all.
So we'll see y'all next week, y'all. Y'all be safe over the weekend. It's going to rain, so be dry. Please continue to wear your mask. We're still in a pandemic. Okay.
Yep. And actually there was a article I read right before that says Miami, like Paris and someplace else are like have the biggest number of COVID cases. Like we're getting 85 COVID cases a day. So it's Miami and I think it was Paris and some other city.
Woo!
Like 3 major cities were, COVID numbers going up every day.
Wear your mask. Just wear your mask.
Man.
I understand sometimes it's inconvenient, but just wear it, please. Like we're trying to.
COVID is an inconvenience.
I'm just saying, we're just trying to hit the curve. We're just trying to get down there.
We're trying to get rid of it.
We want to be at the bottom of the bone.
We need this to be over.
That's what we're doing. That's all we're trying to ask. All right, y'all.
Have a good one.
You too.